So, what you probably could tell by the video, the title at least, is unfortunately, I was laid off 2 days ago from my job in the Silicon Valley. Um, it's an unfortunate time, obviously, for anybody who's lost their job due to the effects of COVID-19 or anything like that. Anytime you lose your job, it sucks. It definitely blows. But I kind of want to just talk about it right now to give you guys some light as to what happened, what's going through my mind, and what the future holds as far as what my plans are and what I'll be doing now that I no longer have a full-time job. So, to preface, first off, is I just want to give some background as far as what I actually did. For those of you who are just now joining and don't know, I was a contractor doing IT support. So I was an IT support specialist. And being a contractor as a 1099, I wasn't an actual employee. So that's a very big key component here in the story. So things aren't going to be, playing out the way that you might think they are. So just wanted to preface it with that. So that being said, let me backtrack to January of 2020. I was working at a client company full-time, doing the work there. It was okay. Going into 2020, I kind of knew that I wanted to phase away from, not even just 2020. I started my coding journey in September of 2019. So I knew then I wanted to career switch, but towards closer to 2020, I knew I wanted to make a change. So prior to everything that's going on right now, I called my boss in January and I said, hey, I don't know if this IT thing is for me. I do want to go part-time, cut my hours short, and, spend the off days that I now have to learning how to code and trying to make the career switch. And he was totally okay with that. He said, I understand that IT is not for everybody, and I fully support that decision. We'll cut your hours, we'll make sure everyone's okay. And it was an easy conversation to have. So that was that. And then go into February of 2020, that client company actually had to drop me due to the state law in California for contractors, which is you can't have them on longer than a year. Once the year is up, then the contract is over and you either have to get rid of that contractor or sign them on as an employee, and they just couldn't do that. So not that I wanted it anyways, but they could not keep me, so I obviously had to move. That was at the end of February, and then beginning of March is when I started really being part-time at this consulting company that I worked at for IT support. We had multiple clients that we were supporting, so I was helping on Mondays. Mondays. I already forgot my schedule. It wasn't even that long ago. I don't know why that was so hard for me to remember. It's like 10:29, so I'm like kind of winding down, but I need to record this video. Anyways, so that was my schedule. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I did my work, and that was at the beginning of March, so obviously all the things of COVID started coming out, and we started getting word that it was here in the Bay Area and then here in San Jose, so it got a little weird, and then finally the shelter-in-place order took effect, and we were no longer allowed to be in the office. Now, it came at a shitty time for me because I was in the middle of training for all these new clients that I'm now taking on with the help of two other coworkers, one of them being my boss, because their processes and software and protocols are very, very different from what I'm used to. So I wasn't fully trained prior to COVID, prior to shelter in place. I was still learning, and it was kind of unfortunate, but I knew things would be all right. So we started working remotely, figuring out that situation there, trying to get these customers who essentially were accustomed to working only on site and rarely ever had a remote user, because a lot of the clients that we had were a little bit more old school. Only one of them really had some remote users and were a more modern startup. So a lot of the time was spent transitioning and adapting those companies over to a fully remote environment, which at at the end of the month we did. But the key thing there was that I was still training for all of this, and I was not ready. So there was a lot of missing knowledge and huge gaps in it, where I had to ask a lot of questions and ask for help from my coworkers, which was fine. Like, obviously you kind of have to and look things up along the way and learn, but it did slow me down. So fast forward to May 28th, which was at the time of this recording 2 days ago. Right now it's 10:32 p.m. May 30th. So fast forward then, 2 days ago, in the morning, I do my typical sign on, look at the tickets, look at what we've got, try to see if there's anything that's within my scope that I can tackle very quickly. If not, see if there's a ticket that I can ask for help for. But I get a call from my boss early that morning, and pretty much that conversation went. He said, "Hey, I just needed to have a talk with you." And as soon as he said that, I kind of had an inkling that, something was up, obviously. In the tone of his voice and the way he presented it, I just knew that there was something up, and I knew that it wasn't good. So he pretty much laid it out straight to me. It wasn't a negative conversation in any way. It was pretty formal, pretty good. It was a person-to-person kind of conversation, not a boss-to-employee kind of conversation. So he pretty much laid out to me that, hey, financially, with everything that's going on right now, I don't know if I can afford you, pretty much. I can pay you out till June, but once June is over, I don't know if I can keep you. So I just wanted, he's saying that he just wanted to let me know that, and we need to figure out what the next steps are going to be as far as my future with the company. So after he told me that, I kind of had to make a decision as far as what I wanted to do. And he pretty much said, hey, I'll give you the weekend. It was Thursday when he said this, and he gave me the weekend till what would be tomorrow, essentially. Or not tomorrow. 2 days from now, since it's still Saturday, to make the decision and see what I wanted to do. So we hung up. I really thought about it. I wanted to see really what was in the cards for me and how I wanted to approach this, because obviously I knew by the time June is up, I'm out and I won't have a job. The money in June would be nice, but I don't know if it'd be worth the time, because I know that I'm on the cutting block anyways. So I just made the decision that, hey, I think today, being May 28th, would be my last day. I think it's best that I cut it short and that I don't prolong this out longer than it needs to be. I already know I'm going to be leaving, so let's just cut it today. So I called him back and said that exactly. He agreed, and we parted that day. I stopped working for that consulting company and became unemployed. The next day, which was yesterday, I saw him in person, obviously 6 feet apart, following all the protocols and everything like that, face mask and everything. Had to go to the office that we worked at to pick up some personal belongings that were mine. Picked up my last check, thanked him for everything that he had done for me, because he's the one who really gave me a chance in this world, in the IT industry, and brought me out from a computer store and brought me into the real deal. So for a year and 4 months, I owe him a lot, and I thanked him for that. So there was no ill will, no bridges burned. I let him know that with the past client that we had, if he needed any help, because I was so embedded in their process, if they needed some sort of guidance or consulting in any way, I am available regardless. So let him know that, and we parted ways that day. So last day of officially seeing everyone that I worked with was yesterday, and today was my first real day of unemployment, and honestly, it's been all right. So yeah, that's the backfill story of how everything went down. So now to what I'm feeling. At first, obviously, it stung, being part of the group and the percentage of unemployment in the United States. You become the statistic now, but I mean, that's just what comes with this quote-unquote recession that we're in right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs, and it's almost becoming the norm to lose it, because companies are just financially not able to sustain the number or the headcount that they have, so they have to cut. And being part of that definitely sucked, but I knew it was part of the course. It had to happen in order for him to stay alive, and I fully understand that. And there's no ill will towards it. I understand the business side of things, so it doesn't affect me too much. Now, what makes this a lot better is obviously the outreach from everybody that I've come in contact with on Instagram and on Twitter, and especially with friends of mine here. They've all been super supportive, telling me the things that I really do need to hear right now, and just letting me know that things are going to be all right. I've been running my Instagram page for a couple months now, not more than a couple months, but it's been a minute, and we've grown a lot. We're almost at 30K. My YouTube just hit 1,000, so all of them seeing that, they kind of just reassured me that I have potential here. There is no need to be down about this. This is a blessing in disguise, and that's exactly how I'm looking at it. I don't see this as a negative. I think this was meant to happen, and I believe that things do happen for a reason. So I kind of see the light in this, and that, yes, unemployment sucks, but I'm now able to really allocate all of my time to all of this. Content creation, giving value, Instagram, anything else. All my time's free now, and I can really do the things that really, really do make me happy, and I think that's the benefit out of all of this. So I'm not sulking, I'm not emotional about it, maybe a little bit, but it's not to the extent of where other people might be at, which again is completely understandable at the same time. Which brings me to my future plans. So what you're going to be seeing from me is a lot more YouTube videos. I just finished a podcast today with Chau, which, if y'all don't know, is the OG, and I will link his channel down below in the developer scene and on YouTube as well, and he's just been killing it. And to be a part of his podcast on my first day of unemployment has been a blessing. I couldn't have asked for more. The timing of everything was crazy. I mean, shouts out to him. Like, honestly, that might have been the best thing that I've ever done. And I was so happy to be on it. I think it's going to turn out great, so I'm happy that happened. But from that stems so much more motivation. So a lot more YouTube videos. We made a bet, essentially. I don't think we made it an official bet, but we have challenged each other to make a single video on YouTube every week. So you're going to be seeing a lot of content out of me here. Instagram's going to get flooded with content, as always. I'm going to have a lot of time to allocate to taking pictures and really, really putting out good captions. And I'm going to be starting a podcast. Kind of out the blue, but Chris really did inspire me, and I've always thought about it. I think this is going to be a really good move, and I think that with the time that I have, it's probably the best move that I can make. And with everything that I've seen, and if you guys watch the podcast, which hopefully will be out soon, I think he just tweeted that it'll be out soon, which is kind of crazy. But you guys will hear that being laid off might be the best thing that ever happened to me. Puts you in the survival mode that Chris said, and it makes you think that, hey, I need to really step my game up and do something about my life, and maybe not be so reliant on a full-time job where at the click of a button, essentially, someone can stop my job where it's at, and I have no more income, and I don't want that anymore. I want to be able to work for myself and not be reliant on anyone else's opinion on me or the circumstances that the financial market brings or the climate of the society brings. I want to be able to thrive on my own and not be reliant on that. So that's exactly what all my plans are going to lead to. They may not be profitable now. I'm going to be working for free, essentially, for maybe a couple months. Who knows? But I'm going to be working my ass off to try to make these profitable, try to make it a living, and do something that I love doing. I think that's the end goal and should be the end goal of everybody, is whatever your passion is, whatever makes you happy, that should be what you do till the day you die. And content creation and programming and all these things is what I love to do. So will I get a software engineering job or a developer job? I don't know yet. I've applied. Nothing's come of it, but it's not discouraging me in any way. I'm still deciding whether or not I want a full-time job in that position or just stick to this. because both of them I do enjoy doing, and I might be able to incorporate the both while doing it. So those are going to be the plans for the rest of 2020 and probably for the rest of my life. Hopefully that these things kick off, but you can guarantee that I will be working so hard to make things work. With this unfortunate thing that's happened, I'm going to turn it around into a positive, and I hope that the rest of you, if you have been affected by any way in the same circumstance, by COVID, by something else during these times, make the best of what you have right now. Start that business, start that podcast, make that career change, learn that new language. Whatever it is that you're passionate about or that you've been planning on doing, now is no better time than ever to do it. So I implore you all to go do the same thing. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys got something out of this video, whether that be the insight of what's been going on in my life, some sort of motivation if you are unemployed as well, or just, raw motivation and inspiration to go do something right now, because again, right now is a good time to do it. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to hit me up in any way, email me. My email will be down in the description. All my gear that I use, if you guys want to check that out, will be down in the description, which also are affiliate links, so I do benefit from that a little bit, which I really would appreciate right now. And if you guys have any questions, just hit me up in the comments, hit me up in the emails, Instagram, Twitter, all down there in the description. But I'll see you guys on the next video next week. Peace.